Greetings. I hope you are aware. I am exceedingly tired. I am viciously tired. I was up far too late last night. And as a result, my chi is stiff and rusty. My chi is flaky this morning. Spling ahead, far behind. Good day, Japanites. Tuaker in Diberu. Woo! Peinteingu io koso, korberu. Tuaker in Diberu. Welcome to Peinteingu. You will have to forgive me. My chi is stiff and fraky this morning. The female returned from her holiday last night, and we did not get to bed till very late. I arose from my slumber approximately, what was it, 2:30 or something? I took one look at my phone and I was like, oh, fuck. Sheep, my split animal. What does that even mean? Oh, your spirit animal. Sheep, my spillet animal. Brilliant. I get those ASMR sips. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able for a full 2-hour stream, but we'll see what happens. Okay. My layout is still totally jacked, and it's like really annoying me. The chat's too small. The audio mixer seems to be the problem. It's like the source of my it's the source of my suffering the last like week or so. Is the layout on this is just for some reason decided to like take the piss out of me, like which, to be quite honest, is like, you know, I think I'm used to shit like that now. Things just causing me problems for the sake of causing me problems. Oh god. The amount of times I've gone back into this fucking layout editor to try and fix the layout of this thing, like, it's actually so fucking annoying. Right, what's that now? Well, now I can't see that. Like, where's the audio tab? You know, you have all these different options and shit, like, and it's just like, now, come now. Oh, that's loud. That's very loud. Hello, oh, Demon Hunter Barrow. Welcome. Warming up nicely this week. 60 degrees by Thursday. Can plant onions and garlic this weekend, I think. Glorious. Glorious indeed. Hoping I can plant my leftover spuds in time before they are too far gone. Nice. What kind of spuds you got? There's all different kinds of spuds. Layout editor. Where's my layout editor? What about this one? We'll try this one. I'm just going to try all these different layouts and see what the crack is. That one's okay. That one seems to be alright. Screen's nice and big. Okay, red one. Ooh, the glorious rooster potatoes. The red ones. Not the white ones, the red ones. I got them fucking American Indian potatoes. Okay. I think it's about time we get the chi flowing, don't you think? I need to wake the fuck up. I need to shake off the rust that I've accumulated. I must, shake off the rust that I have accumulated over the weekend. My fucking dad texted me on Sunday, like yesterday, about like 1 o'clock or something, like. And I don't keep up to date on these, like, you know, fucking worldly happenings. I've better things to do. I'm a fucking demigod, for fuck's sake. Why the fuck would I care if it's April Fool's Day or if there's a long weekend or a bank holiday or some shit? I don't give a fuck. It doesn't affect me. My father texted me yesterday and he was like, enjoy the weekend. I hope it's relaxing. And I'm not sick, I'm just exhausted. I'm literally only up about half an hour and I'm like really tired. Like, and I'm coughing because I smoke. This is a smoker's morning. Do you know what I mean? Like fuck it. I actually haven't had a cigarette yet, and I'm just drinking my first coffee, and I'm awake about 40 minutes. Like, look at my eyes. I have the eyes of a junkie. Sonia has requested a Peinteingu. Glorious. That's another Peinteingu that I've been commissioned to do in the last week or so. And both of them are from females. Glorious. So we've some feminine paintings. We have some feminine paintings, some feminine Peinteingus on the way. The one that Deirdre the Sorrows wants me to do is fucking hilarious. It's like epic and cool, but hilarious at the same time. Like, so I can only imagine what Sonia wants me to do. Like, fucking like her as a fucking droidica. Like, how fucking weird and funny would that be if, like, she's like, I just want you to put my face on one of those roly-poly droids out of Star Wars. And I want to be blasting the fuck out of Darth Maul wearing a tutu. I don't know, like, so it's just something random, like. Yes, I know fall is optimal, but I've gotten pretty nice bulbs with early spring planting, ready to pick up later July or August. Still, I've the only thing I have grown in the past couple of years is the tomatoes that Bravey Bear gave me, and hello. Fucking door opens and no one's there, like, she wants it to feature our two cats in a silly way. Oh, that's cool. Cool, yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll be awesome. Fuck it. What are they called again? I can't remember what your cats are called again. You only fucking told me there the other night. It was so funny though. I was playing I think it was playing Chivalry or Star Wars. I can't remember which one I was playing with Sonia before you got back from the gym, and one of the cats got in front of the telly and she was just laughing her head off, and she was she was like, this is hilarious, because the cat was like legit just like sitting in front of the TV looking at the thing, and she's there trying to blast fills and all, like. Oh, cats are cats are like the only creature that can be like obnoxiously ignorant and inconsiderate, but you let them away with it because like they're just being them, you know, like you can tell most of the time. I know like most of the time it's unintentional, but then there are plenty of times where it is exceedingly intentional. Some cats can be straight up wankers, and you can tell that they know they're fucking with you. Sneaker and Bandit, that's the one, yeah. Is it Sneakers or is it just Sneaker? Sneakers and Bandit. Yeah, like ever since that ginger cat showed up a few weeks ago, part of me wants to fucking just get a cat now. I just want something to pet now and again. Um, last year I planted it. Last year I planted in the fall, but it must have been too late as they never came up till spring. Anyways, unfortunate, but trial and error. You know, we learn and we grow. We grow or we learn or both. Um, Probably on account of the longer days of sunlight. Like, yeah, it depends on what you're planting, and it depends on, like, the soil and. Oh yeah, first burp of the day. It depends on the soil. Depends on what the vegetable or plant you're planting, and then it depends on like how much the temperature, the overall temperature. You know, like some things, it's like strawberries and fucking uh, what was it I heard as well? It's like there's certain things that like they look like they die in the winter, but they don't actually. Their roots survive. Um, so you may not you won't get any, like, you won't bear any fruit and you won't get any harvest. But you don't need to replant because come spring they just like come back. So there's plenty of vegetables and plants like that like, you can just pretty much throw in the ground whenever you want, and then like when their time comes they will show up. And then there's other things that need to be very, like, carefully considered, where it's like, if I put this beside this, it's going to strangle it. And that's what happened to my tomato plants before my ma just let them die. I noticed one day when I went out that one of the tomato plants was actually, like, tilted. I was like, what the fuck going on here? Like, and I had to, like, meticulously unwind various vines that were coming from a nearby weed that had, like, started to, like, pull it to the ground. Like, stuff like that I find fascinating, where because it happens over such a slow happens over such a long period of time. Well, I say long period of time, it could happen over a series of days, could happen over a series of hours, could happen overnight. But my point is that, like, if you were to just stand there with a camera and watch it, it would be a tedious endeavor and you probably wouldn't notice much. But if you put one of those fucking time-lapse cameras down and just record everything, like, you'll realize that over the space of about, like, 12 or 24 hours, this, like, tiny green, like, vine will just start to go up around your plant and then just, like, pull it to the ground and shit. Like, fascinating stuff. The way certain plants will move other plants out of the way and strangle them to maintain their monopoly on the light source and stuff. Like, plants are fucking hardcore, Like, I would not fuck with a herbalist. You know what I mean? Like, herbalists are not to be fucked with. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, those kind, like, male or female, but, like, they tend to be female. Like, which makes sense because a woman's touch is more delicate, and plants tend to be delicate. But, like, those are not the type of people you want to fuck with. Like, you piss one of those people off and they're likely to put fucking nightshade in your tea or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Commodus, drink this tonic. Like, one of those jobs. Like, you seem stressed, my love. Here, take 2 of these. Lie down. Oh god. Up here they go in before the ground freezes, and when we get scapes in June, July, and harvest in July, August. It's fascinating stuff. It's like it is one of those things that's an incredible amount of trial and error, unless you, like, do an incredible amount of theory beforehand. Like, if you, like, get some fucking really renowned herbalist's book, or, like, a farmer's book, and, like, really read up on your shit and study it and all, and have all the theory and the logistics of it laid out before you actually start planting, versus just being like, what's this packet full of seeds? Carrots, is it? Okay. And you just fuck them in the ground and see what happens. That's the type of farmer I am. Like, do you know what I mean? I just, like, throw everything everywhere and just see what survives, and then, like, trial and error the fuck out of everything. Like, the stuff I find most fascinating is the preferences and strengths and weaknesses of, like, the insects in relation to the plants, because, like, you'll get, like, people are always complaining about, like, fucking, oh, we had a few of these, but then, we got like an infestation of X kind of insect, or we got a swarm of these things show up, or ants or something, like, and they just end up eating all the fruit or the root or whatever, like, Denmark Burrow, welcome to Peinteingu. You must forgive me, Denmark Burrow. I am exhausted. I was up very late last night, and I only rouse from my slumber about fucking like half two here. So that's why I delayed Peinteingu by half an hour, because I was like, I need to make a cup of coffee and fucking throw some water on my face. Like, I literally woke up like this, like fucking like, I've been suffering from a slight case of conjunctivitis the last few months, but I think it's the dust and the lack of circulation in the house, because we've like kept the windows open and stuff like that, or we've kept the windows closed rather, because of the cold. You had a few points. No alcohol. No, I was just up real late. Up very late. No alcohol. I haven't had I recently had some wine, but that was about it. I'm really not a big drinker these days. Like, I still like a drink now and again, I was like, around the time of my birthday, I had a lot of Bacardi spiced rum sitting there, one that somebody brought over for me, and I was mixing that with red lemonade, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking delicious. Yeah, it's probably the pollen as well. Yeah, it's a mixture of everything. Like, I'm spending too much time indoors looking at screens, or a page that's like right in front of me. Like, so my eyes are very strained. My eyes are very strained the last like year or so, because I'm always just looking at screens, looking at blank canvases, looking at blank pages that are white, and especially when the glorious heavenly light is brilliantly shining upon me. Like this is my desk right here, like, this is my main work desk, like right here, and this is my light source, which most of the time is incredible, and it's really good, like, but when about 10-11 o'clock, the angle it comes in at is like literally so bad that sometimes there's been times where I have to put a cap on, like a trucker's cap, or a baseball cap or something. Like, I have a Lakers hat and then a farmer's hat, and they're just both like caps, and I have to put them on so I can work at the desk, and even then the shine is still incredible, like. So my eyes are just very strained in general. Like, I spend too much time indoors looking at things so close to me, screens and stuff, like. But I've gotten into the habit of, as often as I can, there's a golf course around the corner. Which is like up on a hill. It's called the Tipperary Hills, and I go up there, and if the weather's bad, I just open the window and do it, because I actually have a decent view of the horizon from that window. But it's much more ideal if I can go up once a day, like 3-4 times a week. I go up to those hills, and you can see the whole town 360 degrees. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see for fucking miles. Like, the horizon is beautiful. Like, you can see mountains and hill. I say mountains because people call them mountains, but it's fucking hills. Just like, gently inclined hills. That's all we have in Ireland. But I try to do that neuroplastic fucking I don't know what the fucking term is, but basically it's stretching your eyes. If you've never done this, it's an odd sensation when you look at a horizon, and you don't try to focus on anything. You just let your eyes kind of like adjust to the distance, and you can notice. It's like in a video game when you change the field of view. You can notice your vision starts to, like, the level of magnification in your eyes starts to change, and your field of view starts to open as your eyes adjust to the distance that they're actually viewing. And what I do is I pick out 3 spots, right? So there's a car dealership with a massive sign that says Piers Morgan, or some shit like that. I think is it Piers Morgan or is it Pierce? I don't know. But it's the name of the guy who owns the dealership, and it's in black and white writing, and it's this huge sign, and it's approximately, like, when I'm up on the hill, it's approximately 700 meters away from me or some shit like that, maybe less. And then there's a shop called Mr. Price, big warehouse building, further in the distance, approximately double the distance away than the car dealership. And it has a massive sign on it that says Mr. Price in yellow and red. And then there's a garage even further in the distance that says Circle K on it. So what I try to do as often as I can is I go up there and I'll look into the distance and allow my eyes to adjust to the horizon, and my field of view goes out. And then I'll look at the sign at the car dealership, and I'll wait till the text is like sharp. And quite often it's blurry as fuck. Like, I can still make it out, like, you know, but I'll try and wait till my eyes, you know, you try and relax your eyes and then like squint and stuff like that, and try to get it like as sharp as possible, and then maintain the sharpness, maintain that level of zoom of focus, and then switch to the next one, and then switch to the next one, and then wait, and then come back, and I do that a few times, and then I come home. And it does help. It, like, you know, it stretches your eyes and alleviates, you know, you not just getting outside of the fucking house, getting some fresh air, but it allows my eyes to be like, you know, oh yeah, okay, so that's what the realm actually looks like. Because I spend most, like 80% of my time looking at things that are like only a few feet away from me, like, you know, and they have. You okay? What's up? Well, I was just messing around and testing things and all, and the sound seems to be a little bit clearer without all the junk attached to it, and that stuff is really supposed to be to negate wind and stuff, you know. And if I'm indoors, it doesn't really happen. You all right? But I think that's very important. Like just like I was saying the other day, where like I try to keep an eye on my left shoulder, because I have an innate click in it. Ever since I was young, I got kicked out of a tree and my shoulder was like fucking bent in a horrible way. They had to like set it and put me in a sling. I didn't break anything, but it was just like dislocated slightly. It was like moved out of the joint a bit, like. But it was never the same, you know, the tendons around it didn't heal right or some shit like that. So I have, like, you know, a slightly gammy left shoulder. Could you hear all those clicks? And then the result of that over the years, like when I was like, you know, fucking throwing jabs in training or something like that, like every so often I'd feel it. I'd be like, okay, I kind of need to like put more work into that than I do the other one. Like, it's the same with my eyes. In the last few years, I've noticed that my eyes have gotten quite strained and tired, for various reasons. Like, you know, so now I make a concerted effort to try and, like, you know, alleviate the strain on my eyes and also strengthen my eyes as often as I can. Oh fuck's sake. 137,925. Why are you looking at my phone for? Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I've got honey in my mustache again. I can feel it. I can feel it. What? What'd you say? What did you say? Oh, okay. Just like don't talk to me when you're over there and I'm wearing headphones. Like, what?
I didn't realise you put the headphones back on.
Oh god. He's turning Japanese. I really think so. It's been like I'm making up all of these, like, you know, healthy excuses and stuff like that, and I just come on here one day and I'm just like, hello, I have a finery. Just give in to my Japanese heritage. I kinda now not see the screen, so Peinteingu will now be done in Braille. and I shall embody the spirit of Stevie Wonder, and I shall perform for you art blind. Like, you know, the fucking channel would probably blow the fuck up then immediately. Like, if I could do this shit blind. You know, I'd just be like, you know, like, welcome to Peinteingu. I shall adore your beautiful Peinteingu. Blind. You know, like, it's fucking, let's get these bitches wet. Like, just like, you know, like, that'd be so fucking impressive. It'd be like the sensei out of Kung Fu. Remember with David Carradine, the thing that Bruce Lee was supposed to do, but they gave it to a fucking white guy. And it's like, fucking, if you can pull the pebble from my hand. You know, like, if you could paint the Peinteingu without looking at the screen. Oh god, it probably is the pollen, because like I've noticed that my vision's gotten like increasingly blurry in the mornings the last week or so, and like we have a window in our bedroom that like is literally right beside the fucking garden, so that probably has a lot to do with it as well. But it's a combination of that and me staying up like till all hours and only being awake like about 45 minutes. My eyes are like fucking glued together. Okay. That's actually hilarious. He's turning Japanese. I really think so. Okay. So, shall we get the goo throwing? Let's get these bitches wet. Let us road this parrot. Where's Stabberoo? Motherfucker. He's always like, are we going? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go. And then he doesn't fucking show up. The bleeding cheeky bastard. Right, what are we gonna do today? Part of me was thinking, will I put a black outline on everything and make a pop sticker style? But I don't know. I mean, like, it's fairly poppy and everything's fairly visible at the moment. But we're gonna work on the everything bagel today, I think, because the everything bagel is gonna have a lot of stuff in it, because it's the everything bagel. Have you any idea how difficult it is to visually represent the like everything? Like, as far as like, you know, a challenge of illustrating something goes, it's like paint an everything bagel. All right, yeah, cool. Like, it's like hold on, everything. Like, we're gonna be here a while, man. Seriously, a teaspoon of real butter. Teaspoon of real butter, a teaspoon of honeycomb with a bit of like the actual honey, just like raw honeycomb, butter in the coffee. I only had one coffee the other day. I usually have like 3 coffees throughout the day. Oh god, excuse me. My stomach's starting to wake up. I usually have about 3 coffees throughout the day, and I'll stop drinking coffee about like 4. I usually start drinking coffee first thing in the fucking morning, but I've stopped doing that now because I heard that there's a chemical called adenosine or something, which is designed to like make you tired or something like that. Like, and apparently, like, when in the morning, what you should do is wait at least like an hour and a half, wait at least like 90 minutes before you have coffee, because caffeine blocks adenosine. So apparently in the morning you still have some of that like running through your system, and that's why you're kind of like, oh, I wish I could just go back to bed, like, you know, like I still kind of, you just want to snuggle up back in the pillow and just go back to sleep. The morning brain fog kind of feeling, like apparently that has something to do with a chemical or a hormone called adenosine, and caffeine blocks this stuff. So if you get up in the morning and you just whack a fucking coffee into you, it will stop all that. And then when the caffeine starts to the efficacy of the caffeine begins to wane, a few hours later, the adenosine will rush through your body, and that's why you get a fucking that's why you get a come down, or that's why you might get a fucking a 3 o'clock slump or stuff like that, where like you get up and first thing in the morning you have a coffee, and then you get into work, and then a few hours later you're yawning and you're like, I need another coffee, I'm tired. What you should actually do is like wait a while, wait for all that shit to run through you, and just like use your willpower to fight off the tiredness, and then have a coffee. I love finding stuff like that out, like where you just hear these like random fucking like science facts and stuff like that. Like I'm always watching YouTube shorts. I've managed to prune. I've managed to. I don't know what the word is. Like I've managed to get myself into a position on YouTube and Instagram, I think, where like the algorithm now feeds me like fucking gravy. Not all the time, but like it's like I don't get smut, I don't get like degenerate stuff, I don't get like now and again I'll still get like a dating thing or some shit like that, but I've spent so much time reporting and blocking ads in the past like 2 years on Instagram and YouTube, where I'm like, don't recommend this to me, I don't agree with this, I don't like this, don't recommend this to me, and it can be a bit of a fucking pain in the hole to like prune your garden like that, your digital garden, but it's fucking worth it, because like now literally all I get is the stuff that I generally like and stuff I find interesting. I don't get all of this stuff that annoys me. I don't get stuff that like I look at and I'm like, ugh, or oh, excuse me, because I used to, the algorithm would just be very mainstream on my feed and would like fucking send me all sorts of stuff. But now it's actually quite custom to me at this stage. But it takes a while. But it's one of those things where it's like you'd be surprised how easy it is to remove yourself from a lot of the degeneracy that we see. You can kind of just cordon yourself off digitally, while still receiving everything that you like, and not receiving any of the stuff that you don't like. Which I think is great. Like that's how it should be. It's like you should only be getting the stuff that you agree with, in a sense. Now I don't mean that in a whole sense, where like kind of creating your own echo chamber, it's not like I only get shit that like I agree with, that kind of thing, like, but I typically only get things that I find interesting or entertaining, or at least like informative to some degree. Have some fucking. You want some serious gravy at the cost of like having to suffer through some like kind of weird boring stuff and some gay shit. That show, the OA, that Chris Gardner spoke about one of the last times he was on with Owen. Serious heavy gravy in like the last, like some of the first season definitely. But the last 4 or 5 episodes in the second part, there's 2 parts to it. Netflix cancelled it. It's got like a cult following, and I'm not surprised, because it's really fucking weird. Okay, like I'm not going to like sugarcoat it at all. It's one of the strangest things I've ever watched in terms of direction, narrative, subject matter, all these things. However, if you look at it from the perspective of a lot of the stuff that like we discuss in terms of like metaphysical gravy, scientific gravy, just like reality gravy in terms of like discernment and like what's real, or like what is real, the whole Morpheus question, like it is fascinating. It is fucking fascinating. There's some heavy esoteric gravy in the second part, the latter half of the second part of that show, So the last like 4 or 5 episodes of part 2, there was some shit we were watching and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Stuff like, you know, that reminded me of like frequency is location, and how like movement and stuff is not just like, you know, they say movement is medicine, but movement is also a way of communicating and shit. And I remember speaking about this briefly before on another stream where I was like, oh, we're watching the OA and they do these weird movements and stuff like that, like, you know. And part of me was like, that there is gravy in that, because if you've ever watched birds do like mating dances and stuff, typically you look at birds and most birds like essentially have the same fundamental movement patterns, you know. They tuck their wings when they're walking around. They tend to hop or walk around and have particular, like, you know, varying but similar gaits in their stride and the way they walk. And then they peck at shit, you know, and then they fly away. But then some birds, a lot of birds, at specific times in their life or specific times of the year, you know, if they're trying to mate or if they're trying to communicate or some shit like this, they have these like insanely eccentric movement patterns that they can do with their wings and their head and their tails and all this stuff. And they look like they're doing movements that the bird isn't necessarily designed to do, but can do. And they tend to, like, there's certain species that do it in unison. Like, how mad is that? Like, do you know, like that. People will say things like, you know, oh, it's just an animal, you know, like they're like lower than us, like, you know, they're not as intelligent as we are. Animals aren't as intelligent as we are. But then you look at crows, and like there's the term bird brain. It's like, oh, birds are really stupid because the brains are really small. I completely disagree, because of the evidence that has been shown, where like if you can train a fucking crow to do all sorts of shit, and crows will instinctually make friends with you if you do something nice for them. And they'll never forget it and shit. Like they're really weird. Like, you know, you get parrots and they can mimic sounds and all. Like, you know, there's definitely intelligent birds. So it's like, okay, so that clearly isn't a good metric to accurately discern the level of something's intellect. It's like just the size of its brain, right? That's not a good enough metric. Like, and another thing that I would say is like is the way they communicate through dance sometimes, because it's like, if you have a creature that knows at a particular time for a particular purpose it should do particular movements at in a particular time frame, you know. So like, yeah, like like flamingos is one of the maddest ones. Or like there's like herons and storks, like very like water birds. Yeah, what are they called? I can't remember. There's like a specific term, but like, they like not only will they do mad dances and stuff, but they'll do it in sync with other birds. So like, think about how like a creature's consciousness has to be to a certain degree for it to be like, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and this, but not just do that. You're also going to do it in perfect timing with the other creatures in your vicinity. Now, I am aware that one can make the argument that like the animals are just tapping in to energetic patterns and then allowing their bodies to mimic those patterns. So maybe there isn't a lot of thought involved. It's actually just mainly instinctual. I can understand that. But to me, it looks like some form of like really sophisticated communication that doesn't use sound, you know. And that was another thing that was very interesting in the show. There was a woman who couldn't speak and couldn't draw or write, so she had to learn how to communicate by showing people things. And like, you know, just using images that are already in the vicinity and shit like that. Like, it's really, like, seriously, like, mind-bending fucking shit. Especially when it comes to these things that, like, it becomes more prevalent in the show, these movements, right, where they have to, like, they do mad stuff. Like, the first time you see it, you're probably gonna laugh. You're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's like this, it's the sort of stuff you would see in like Egyptian rituals or some shit where they're like doing all these mad sound effects while doing these movements and stuff, like, you know. And the first time you see it, you're like, how high are they, you know, or how high was the director when you were fucking doing this shit? But when you just think about, when you just remove your instinctual reaction to stuff like that and you just like look at it purely like objectively and logically, the first thing I thought of was like mating rituals. Birds do shit like that. They make mad sounds and they move in mad ways to communicate certain things. And the way, like, the stuff they do in the show is like they'll do all these movements, and the purpose of all these movements is like, it depends, like, it can heal, like it can resurrect. Like one of the characters straight up fucking dies and they bring him back using these movements. So it can heal ailments, it can resurrect the dead, and then it can also transport people to other dimensions and stuff. And it's like, it's just fucking mental. But like, there's so much fucking gravy in it. Like, you know, like there's this house that has like all sorts of really like Masonic gravy in it and shit, with the patterns and Masonic floors and like a bitch in a red dress with a lantern and all, like, and I was just watching it being like, this is some heavy gravy. However, like I said at the beginning of that lengthy fucking tangent, the show like starts off with like what is essentially like teenage porn. It's like two teenagers fucking, and there's another part in part 2 where you don't get to see any sexual stuff, but it's like heavily implied, and there's some kissing and it's gay. And it was funny because me and the female were watching it. I was like, oh Jesus. And I looked away and I tried to skip, but then I skipped too far forward and then had to go back. Because like the scene ended like, she's like, no, you need to go back if you went too far forward. I was like, oh. Like, it was horrible. Like, but there is literally only like, there's one scene like that in part 2, and then there's one scene like that in part 1. So there's like a fucking very, very graphic, very explicit sexual scene right at the start, and then you don't really see more of that. And then there's a kind of a gay thing in the second part. And one of the characters is this whole fucking gender identity thing. It's like a young one, but she calls herself Buck. And I was even saying it to the female. I was like, it genuinely feels like they shoehorned those 3 things in so that Netflix would go like, you know, oh yeah, we'll make that. And then they cancelled the show because there's so much like metaphysical gravy in it. Like, you know, the subject matter that they're discussing essentially in the show is the sort of stuff that we love in this community, where it's this like totally open-minded look at what we see as like objective reality. Like, you know, where it's just like, all right, well, if X and like, you know, if X plus Y equals Z is true, then like, you know the whole logic, the logic chain of like, if this then that, like I was talking about with like, you know, I think we control fireballs and cast lightning, we just don't know how. It's essentially the same idea. Because even one of the characters says in part 2, he's like, the only reason we think these certain things to be impossible is because we cannot actually conceive of them being possible or real. The second you actually start to believe that this stuff is possible or real, lo and behold, it becomes possible or real. And it's like talking about how that's actually the nature of our reality, is like attention and consciousness and will is what holds everything together. What holds the grand pattern together is will and stuff. Fascinating, like really, 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 really fascinating. So if you're you know, not too sensitive and you're able to skip past certain things or whatever, or even just like put up with them, check out the OA. It's fucking got a ton of gravy in it. And check out Colony. I've been telling Demon Hunter Bear to watch that. That's not a Netflix show, it's just on Netflix, so you'd probably be able to get it on a streaming site or something. But Colony, it's not called The Colony, it's just called Colony. And that's really cool. I'm really enjoying that. I'm on season 3 of that at the moment. Really fucking cool. I like doing that. I like watching stuff and then being like, guys, you should watch this. Like, it's cool. Because it's so hard these days to be able to just, like, watch something and not have that, like, oh, here we go with the propaganda. Like, I think they put that queer stuff right before pertinent info, so you can't skip have to subject yourself to the BS. Yeah, like that's what, like I completely agree. Like I brought up the example to the female last night, like after we finished the OA, and I was talking about that stuff where I was like, I have a feeling that like they shoehorn the propaganda gay stuff in to like either throw you off or like force you to like watch degenerate shit so that you can get to the cool stuff. The example I brought up was the movie 300 and then the sequel. If you look, like, I remember this years ago, right before like my truther phase really or whatever, like years before watching Owen or whatever, like any of these like truth things or conspiracies. Like, if you just look at the movie 300, right, it is in a sense based on moral, because it's about sacrifice, it's about duty, it's about honor, it's about facing down a overwhelming force simply because it is the right thing to do. It shows how corrupt politics can be, and how politics and religion can be corrupt, and like what actually saves the people is a good moral king who has a good moral queen, and the two of them, like, what they're interested in is defending their homeland and their people. And like, the whole thing of like, come back with your shield or on it and all this stuff, like, and then when like Leonidas, when the last of them die near the end, and all he says is like, my queen, like, and all this stuff, like, it's like most men will talk about that film and be like, such a great movie. Why? Because it's like, that's what it is to be a man, that's what it is to be a king, that's what it is to be a warrior, like, that kind of thing. And then the sequel is like utter shit. The sequel is like essentially gore porn, shitty graphics, and straight up like porn as well. And like, I know there's like a very risque sex scene in the first one. And there's lots of like, fucking, when they're showing the Persians, there's lots of just like tits and stuff hanging out, like, but the sex scene in the first one is actually quite in a sense like artistic and tasteful. And it's like, the king making love to his woman, making love to his queen for like what could be the last time and stuff like that. But the sex scene in the second one is like, he goes over to the enemy's ship and just like shags the bad bitch. Do you know what I mean? And then comes back, like, do you know? It's like the contrast between 300 and then I can't even remember what the second one was called, 300 something, I don't know. When I remember when that went down, I was like, that makes sense to me. Like that's an example of how they work. They must have looked at 300, the first one, and they were like, oh, a lot of lads, like, barely dressed, and they're all ripped and oiled in a warehouse and stuff, and blah, blah, like, it's like action and shit. Yeah, sure, we'll shoot that. But then the actual content of the story, they were like, oh, fuck, that's like really inspirational and like fairly based in lots of ways. Like, crap, what are we going to do now? So when they came back and we were like, oh, we want to do another one, we were like, right, we have to make it shit. We have to make it like really immoral and degenerate, and like the story just has to be crap, like, Steel 300 taught us not to trust cripples. Yeah, like, totally. May you live forever. I fucking love that scene. But I remember noticing that like years ago. I was like, that's intentional. That's not just like that's not the unfortunate result of the writer and director going a different direction or whatever with the sequel. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you could tell that it was like a direct result of them being like, okay, the first 300 movie was genuinely a really good movie, entertaining, inspirational, an example of morals and honor and duty and all this stuff, right? And then the second one is utter trash. It's like, how does that happen? You know, it's intentional. It's totally intentional. Like, and I thought that's what I thought of when we finished the OA. I was like, I'm telling you now, like, they only they throw the gay stuff in. And they throw it in with a sense of like, well, you know, this stuff exists in the real world. Like, you know, we're just trying to be we're just trying to accurately represent, you know, the real world and stuff like that. Like, well, like, if you're gonna accurately represent the real world, why doesn't anyone turn around and go, what's the faggot doing here? You know, why are we hanging around with a weirdo trans? Do you know what I mean? Like, why doesn't the character turn around and go like, you know, oh no, my name's Buck, and how come another character doesn't turn around and go, oh, you're one of them? You think you're a boy, do you? Like who taught you that shit? Like, you know, there's no pushback. There's just simply an acceptance of that being reality. You know, it's fascinating to watch because like there is like they put that stuff in the context of, oh, this is what real life is like. And it's like, okay, well, if you're actually going to say that, then what real life is like is there are people who find that stuff disgusting and degenerate and insane, right? So if you're actually going to, you know, appeal to diversity and fucking inclusion and tolerance and fucking, what's the word I'm looking for, representing reality and stuff like that, then there should be a character like me in the fucking show or the movie being like, I fucking can't stand these faggots, you know? Like, that's, if you want to represent reality, that's how you fucking do it. Like, do you know what I mean? There should be a character that's like, I've had enough of these fucking tranny fucks. Like, this is so fucking weird. Like, why does that little girl have a shaved head and she's pretending to be a guy called Buck? Like, this is fucked up, like, you know? But they don't do that, do they? You know? That, like, everybody just accepts it to be a reality, like, you know? It's fucking disgusting, like. But anyway. Griffu, welcome to Peinteingu. Right, I've got a bit of coffee into me and my chi is starting to flow. Let's fucking go. Oh, that's loud. A moment while I adjust the volume. The volume of the music in my mind. Okay. I must squirt on the parrot. Squirt, 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 squirt. The parrot has been squirted upon. Next call of order. Getting these bitches wet too. Well, not all of them. Just one of them. One at a time. Okay. I have apaced my royal rag upon my divine knee. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, Japonites, bears, bearettes, niggers, niggerettes. Join me. Oh, on the 1st of April. As we begin to Peinteingu. Listen to your spina, for it knows its timer. A good fan, a good flex of the fan. Ooh, a dong, a ding of the dong for clarity. Oh, glorious. Let's fucking go, Japanites, for it is time for Peinteingu. 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 I must descend to proper Peinteingu posture. Peinteingu. 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 It's Peinteingu. Painting you! Painting me! It's Peinteingu. Let's fucking go! Yeah! So, an everything bigger! What do we put on an everything bigger? Fucking everything. Oh god. Instead of do the Jew, it's goo the goo. Oh, I thought of something like fairly famous there earlier on. Like a common saying, and I was like, I replaced it with goo. I can't even remember now. But it was similar to the live, laugh, love thing. Like riv, raff, rov. I was trying to think of something and I was like, oh, I could just replace that with goo. That's hilarious. Can't remember now. That poor parrot. I know. I mean, like, just be glad you don't get to witness any of the stuff I do to the parrot. The dong has ginged. I know, like, it doesn't... I don't have a gong that goes like bong. I have a tiny dong that goes ding. Our resident, formerly addicted to cocaine, 850-pound tiger, brother Garos, wishes to remind you to Rika and subscriber to Peinteingu, you cunts. An answer to your question, no, his arms never tire. I have asked him many a time. Initially, I was concerned. I was like, do your arms get tired? And he was like, no. Carlos was like, no, his arms don't get tired. But then I was like, is he just trying to make me feel better? And his arms are really tired. You know, is he like that Indian guy who like kept his arm up in the air for like 25 years and then it rotted away like some kind of disgusting infected branch or some shit? No. Carlos is simply so full of fucking chi as a result of all those years of doing cocaine that his arms can just stay like that. Perpetually. If you forget, or if you refuse, to pay for Peinteingu or like and subscribe to Peinteingu, I will be forced to fling Brother Carlos at you. I will remove his bucket and his sunglasses, and I will unleash his feline fury upon your visage, and you will regret it. The rest of the Peinteingu posse is lying in wait. Miniberu cannot ring the gong. He purveys the map. However, we have not been using the map, so he just sits there, idly, waiting, praying, gathering chi. Finally for the day where he will just do nothing. He'll just look at the map and he's the purveyor of the map. That's all he does. He just looks at the fucking map. That's all. He is the easiest fucking job on Peinteingu. He just sits there and looks cute, wearing that little headband I made him. Now the crow, on the other hand, Tobias Beakus Crows, who, if you have X-ray fucking vision, you can see in the back of the stream here. One would need to be Superman to know that there's a bird on the gong. or if you're watching Peinteingu on a 50-inch plasma screen, you'll be able to see that there is a crow on the dong. Tobias Beakus Crows, ringer of the gong. I'd love to actually like get like a little fucking. If I could rig that so he could peck the dong. Man, phrasing. Like, Tobias, stop pecking my dong. Just ding 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 ding. Right. The first thing I thought of putting on the bagel don't ask me why, is a rake. And I don't mean a body of water because I'm Japanese and I'm pronouncing it wrong. I mean a rake, like a garden rake. I don't mean a rake like a lake. Like, there's another one like this fucking lake becomes rake. Oh, you must visit my home sometime. I live beside a beautiful rake. A beautiful rake? You're what, like? Yes, a beautiful rake. It's gorgeous. There's many flora and fauna surrounding it. Like, you know, I live beside a beautiful rake. First thing you picture in your mind is like he just has this like opulent and ornate looking garden rake that just like sits beside the house looking really shiny. And then you get there and it's like, oh you meant lake, like as in a body of water. Oh, okay, now that makes sense. Like, what did you think I meant? Doesn't matter. Like, okie dokie. We must make it a browner. Watch, now Stabbery's gonna show up. The second I say I'm making brown, Stabbery immediately is just like, don't do it! Oh, yeah. Oh, my cheese definitely throwing now. Peinteingu. Oh, I'm gonna need a lot more yarrow than that. Peinteingu, go 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 go. Ha! Peinteingu. 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 It's Peinteingu. Painting you. Painting me. It's Peinteingu. Let's fucking go. Painting you. Painting me. It's Peinteingu. Let's fucking go. Painting you. Painting me. It's Peinteingu. Let's fucking go. Yup. If your cheese not throwing, you owe me money, for you have failed. Peinteingu. 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 It's Peinteingu. Painting you. Painting me. It's Peinteingu. Let's fucking go. I have made the browner. It is a beautiful browner. Okay. Yeah, don't ask me why. It's just the first thing I thought of was a fucking rake. Maybe rakes are one of the most efficient ways to gather up piles of shoes. I don't know. The delightful plucking of the shamisen. It cleanses the mind and soul. The key to good health is to regularly make brownu. In case you have not learned by now, or in case you have forgotten, One must make it regularly. Take a shit. In order to maintain good health. It's like... Any doctor will tell you, if you're not shitting, you're probably need to quit. It's like, there's a t-shirt there somewhere, like, you know. It's like, haven't shit, should probably quit. Like, oh god. The key to good health is regularly making brown. How often do you make brown? Oh, I don't know. Every couple of days. That's not good enough! Every day! At the same time! You should be able to time... You should be able to make brown... You should be able to time your brown making like a fucking German train or a clock. Like... Okay. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go straight into Raving Goo and get some high energy going. An advertisement. How dare you interrupt my goo? Oh yeah. Beautiful expiration of gaseous thing. Oh Jesus, that's quite risque. What the fuck? That's just wrong. Ads these days are just like, even the games are pornographic. Like, what the fuck? I'm not even gonna attempt to describe what I just saw. Oh, can you knock that over? Peinteingu. Peinteingu, 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 Peinteingu. What's that thing called? The candle holder? The Jewish candle holder? How many candles are on that Jewish candle holder thing? I'm gonna stick one of them on the bagel. Oh yeah. Boom. Peinteingu. What else would we stick on the bagel? Put a big yarmulke on it or some shit. Like, we put like Mickey Mouse, like, fucking as if he's been cooked into the bagel or some shit. Like, hate. What's hate? The menorah, yeah, the menorah, but I forget how many. Is it 8? Is that what you're trying to say, Griffoo? Hate! There's hate of them! Yeah, the menorah. I've heard it called that, alright, like fucking, what is it? I think there's 8, yeah, that's what I figured you were saying, okay. So there's like, that's a lot of candles, isn't it? Where will I put it? I'll put it like sticking out the top here. So we got the one in the middle, and then like it like branches out. So we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll connect them. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. I know there's 9 because of the one in the middle, but I just won't put a candle on the one in the middle. I'll put like a little fucking something that looks like a Jewish nose or some shit. I could just put an upside down cross coming out the top. Isn't this supposed to be Jewish? Fucking Jews, Satanists, what's the difference? Painting go 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 go. Man, I really want to play the RoboCop game that came out a while ago. Looks amazing. It looks like they actually made a decent like RoboCop game, make it look and feel like RoboCop. Like it's like really gory and violent. And like it's just a first-person shooter and shit. Like it genuinely looks brilliant, very entertaining. I've noticed that. Like I know I've been saying it a few times that like it appears the pendulum is swinging. It really is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there's a few games that have come out, and there's a few movies and stuff and shows and stuff that are coming out that like the producers and the directors are like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about all the woke shit. Like fuck that. Like, which is good to see. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo, painting goo goo, painting goo goo. Painting goo goo, painting goo goo, painting goo goo. Goo. Oh, how dare you ruin the goo! I hate you. What is this? You lied to me. Now I am raped. I said 3:30 p.m. GMT. I didn't lie to you. You lied to yourself. I was only saying a while ago, I was like, where's Stabberoo? He was like, I'll be getting a goo today, and I was like, yeah, 3:30 GPM, 3:30 GMT, 3:30 PM GMT. I didn't lie. You lied to yourself. Your eyes lied to you. Your mind lied to you. You have a Jewish mind. Just for accusing me of lying to you, you should pay for Painteingu. I'm gonna use paying for Peinteingu as a punishment. Peinteingu goo. Goo goo goo. Goo goo goo. I was gonna ring the dong and get the female to make me more coffee, but it's a bit of a fucking chore to make my coffee now because of the honey and the butter and the fucking. She'll be there fucking ages. Ugh, and she'll probably fuck it up. Peinteingu. 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 Do do do. Do do do. Peinteingu. Peinteingu. Stabberoo, you must have committed harakiri. I want to look that up. Like, what's the difference between harakiri and seppuku? Because I remember they put harakiri in one of the Mortal Kombat games, where instead of allowing your opponent to do a fatality on you if they win, you could perform harakiri and like essentially fatality yourself, which is pretty funny. But I was like, what the fuck is harakiri? Like, if seppuku is seppuku, then what's harakiri like? Or is harakiri harakiri is like, you know, killing yourself to avoid something, whereas like seppuku is like killing yourself to regain honor. That might be it. I'm not sure. Just guessing. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Do you have time change? Or do you have a time change? No, I just woke up late. I put it on a 3:30 instead of the usual 3, because I was up late last night, very late. I woke up at like 2:30, and I was like, shit, I have to go in half an hour. So I delayed it. So I actually had to go in an hour. You should be happy that you're just still getting a goo. How dare you? Not just praise the goo. Goo. Can you guys like hear me like breathing on the mic when I'm like doing shit like that? When I'm like like focusing real hard on trying to paint a menorah on a bagel. Oh god. Oh, there is like Denmark Bear is fucking right. There's definitely an element of pollen going on. Like, I've got your sniffles like a motherfucker. Okay, so we got a rake, a menorah. What else are we gonna do? Like, fuck it. We need to do like loads of just random Jewish shit. Like, part of me is thinking we should put like sideburns, like curly sideburns on the fucking thing. Like,
Is it a new world, or will it consume us all?
goo, 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 goo. Painting goo, 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 goo. Oh, how fucking dare you! I was getting into a good throw there, and you ruined it, you peddling smut fuck!
Best communication assistant in the world.
There we go. Painting goo, 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 goo,
I demand to know what's going on in my house.
goo, 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 goo. One is self-inflicted. Yeah, but they're well, obviously Mortal Kombat got it wrong then, or some shit, like, because they're both self-inflicted from what I've seen. Like harakiri is like, you know, it's basically seppuku, but it's just called harakiri. That's why I'm asking, you know, what's the difference? The one spills guts makes more sense. One is sword down through neck into pelvis. Oh, so like one is like they take the blade and they fucking just go whoom down through the collarbone area. Oh, isn't that called like a warrior's death? That's what Maximus asks the soldier to do to him in the movie Gladiator. He asks him to give him a warrior's death, and your man places he goes to put the sword like here and like run it down the fucking spine. I can hear it now. Can you guys hear me breathing when I do this? Can hear the breathing, but it's not like an obscene phone call. It's like, so what do you want me to paint? I can paint you a bagel. I can paint you anything you want. But if it is pay me money, and I'll paint you anything you want. That's not true. That is not true. Painteingu is not solicitous. I will not paint you anything you want for a price. I set those rules in stone a long time ago because of fucking Scouse Bear. I was like, I am not getting into the habit of painting big black cocks on things just because you think it's funny. Don't get me wrong, I also think it's funny. According to Google, harakiri and seppuku are the same thing, but seppuku is more polite, less graphic. Ah. So seppuku would probably be you just insert the blade and try to hit the main artery, the femoral or whatever that runs up through the middle. Whereas harakiri would probably be the whole, like, you know, disembowelment. Because what you're supposed to do, allegedly, is you're supposed to go in from one side and drag across to the other side and then turn and then go back across to the other side. Now, how many dudes have managed to actually do that in the history of Japan? I don't know. I mean, like, the fucking pain threshold and self-discipline and sheer amount of willpower you would need to insert a foot-long blade into your, like, under your floating rib on the left, and then drag it across your fucking abdomen to the right. Like, the second you do that, everything's gonna start falling out, and you're gonna lose, like, lots of your fucking, like, it's mad, like, it's like utterly mad, like, mental tradition. utterly mental tradition. Like literally the only thing I glean from seppuku or harakiri, like in a positive sense, is like just the sheer level of discipline one would have to do that. Then like that's crazy. Like Peinteingu. Harikiri means stomach cutting. Seppuku means self-sacrifice. Only accepted if one is a samurai. Ah, now we're starting to get there. Painting. Goo goo. This bagel's already starting to look hilarious. Breast that funny hobbit bastard, Scousu. Warrior death is what then? Yeah, because like, isn't there an assisted one as well that they do in like The Last Samurai, where you'll have a mate of yours who's like ready with a katana. You know, he's like standing there with a katana, and then like you go ugh, and like start dragging it across, and then they cut your head off. Because that's what happens to fucking General Hashira, or I can't remember his fucking name is, but Katsumoto's standing behind him with his katana, waiting, and then like fucking the general fucking like he like opens his shirt and then gets the tanto blade. As far as I know, the tanto blade is the small dagger version of katana, is the tanto, and then I think the set of the two katanas and the tanto is called a daishu or a daishi. I can't remember. You know the way they usually have the three of them on a rack. But then like yeah, like they'll have someone stand behind you, and you'll go like, and you're like dragging it across, and they'll just go yeah, and just cut your head off like. It's fucking mad shit, like imagine that being a tradition. Like it's like fucking. Gentlemen, we're going to war, but before we do go to war, you must know, if we fail, prepare yourself. Fucking mad stuff, like. Right, we'll give it a yarmulke, will we? I kind of want to do a navy yarmulke, because, or will it? Do yarmulkes have to be black? Do they have pink yarmulkes? You know, for the gay Jews. I like I have this, like, remember I was talking about the algorithm earlier on my YouTube, and there's like certain things that get shown to me now on the regular, and I seen this YouTube short. Now it could be a load of shit, you know, but it was very interesting. Allegedly, the Antarctic Treaty, its actual purpose, the reason why there's so many countries involved, and what they actually did. I don't know how long ago this was, or if it's true. So this is just something I heard. But when you think about it, like considering the stuff that we hear about, it's like it actually does make sense. So apparently, allegedly, maybe. The Catholic Church, so the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church, and the Russians and the Greek Orthodox got together sometime post World War II. Yeah, I don't, like, is that when the Antarctic Treaty was made? I'm not sure. But they got together and they took they took the Ark of the Covenant from the Muslims who had hidden it in Mecca, and they put it in Antarctica. So that would explain a lot. You know, like, that would explain why a lot of people are involved in this thing that nobody's allowed to question or do anything about. Like, just food for thought. Like, oh, I thought it was hilarious the other day actually when somebody's like, I heard they're gonna reactivate CERN and all, and Owen was like, yeah, I just think it's a big magnet or whatever like that. Man, I've thought that for fucking ages, and then when I seen so I can't remember when this was. I think it was like circa 2020 or 2022, and it was in the news that some company had brought the world's largest electromagnet to France. And, like, I don't know why, you know, what location they were bringing it to, for what reason or whatever, like. But I have this weird feeling that they do have a plan, or have already. Like, I think they're opening portals, you know. Like, I'm dead serious, like, you know, I think they're using massive amounts of electromagnetic energy to, like, open doors and shit. And if they're not doing that with it, what they could be doing is just fucking with the realm's natural electromagnetic abrasimi. They could be fucking. They could just be like modifying and fucking with the realm's natural torus field, the electromagnetic donut or whatever. That could be another thing. Because, like, think about it, these guys seem to be obsessed with, like, poking holes in things and, like, penetrating things. They're big into rape and murder and all this fucking stuff, like stabbing people. Like, you know, they like the medical industry is obsessed with, like, putting stuff inside you. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, and look at the rockets. The rockets always hitting the firmament. There's always, like, a big giant dick going into the sky and shit. So I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if they're doing the same stuff with magnetics, where they're trying to permeate the like divine electromagnetic barrier that was created around the realm or some shit, like. Oh, my neck's a bit stiff. Painting. That actually does look like a yarmulke. Grand. Okay. I'm gonna make it a little bit curvier on the left-hand side. Perfect. That's quite some gravy if true. That's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, that would make a lot of sense. Because the reality to our, reality to our ality, as fucking Tom Barnett would say, he calls it ality, not reality. Because it's like, why is it called as in like reloaded, redone, reconstructed? It's like, it's again, or it's done again. It's like, well, why do we live in reality? Should we not just live in ality? You know? I love wordplay like that. It's fascinating. Because you know for definite that there's a reason the way they've constructed our language in a certain way, like, you know, with all these like spells and curses and tricks and hexes and distractions. Paint. But yeah, that's some heavy gravy if true. Because it makes a lot of sense, because the reality is that we live in a timeline where we've all these major religions who still, like, they hold like a lot of power because of people's like faith and belief systems and stuff like that, like, and ideologies and shit. Like, you know, people say that, like, oh, the monopoly of force. It's like, yeah, but the monopoly of force is controlled by the monopoly belief, you know? Like, because people don't commit, you know, hyper-violent acts unless they, well, there's two reasons. Like, do you know what I mean? You get the psychopaths where it's like, how much are you going to pay me to do this? And then that's all that matters. And then you get the other people is like, I need a why. I need a reason. I need a why. I need a motive, you know? And religion is like, you know, one of the best motives out there. I'm gonna make the candle flames on the menorah a little bit orange, a little bit more orange. I'm also going to shade the bottom of it to try and give it some depth. Gonna make it nice and bright yellow, and then I'll put some darker yellow tones under it and on the curves to give it that more golden look. And then I will attempt to make the flames a bit more flamey. Honestly, I think one of my favorite things so far about this are the bear and the lamp. Like, although the bagel's turning out pretty well. Okay. Peinteingu. I want to fix the part of me thinks I should leave the bear's smile like that because he looks hilarious, but then part of me is like, should I give him his, you know, fangs and stuff? Should we like do something like this? Slice, 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 slice. Like, part of me was thinking of giving him like a big derpy fucking cheesy smile. Let's see. A ritual death is reverse impairing. I kid you not. I kid you not. I have been tuning in to the goo on time for 8 a.m. PST since daylight savings. That's hilarious. Wait, can I not go back up in the chat? Where's the chat bar? So, where's the little tab to allow me to go up and down in the chat? Interesting. That's annoying. I can't go back up and have a look. Unfortunate. Right, any ideas as to what else are we going to stick on the what else are we going to stick on the bagel? What else do we want to see on the bagel? Oh yeah. Just put a big Jewish nose coming out of the thing. Peinteingu. Oh, how dare you! Every time I get in fro, you show up and you fucking peddle your shit. by stream. Some shekels? Yeah, we'll like embed some shekels in it. Yeah, totally. Peinteingu, 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 Peinteingu. Goo, goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Painting goo, 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 goo. Painting goo, 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 goo. Painting goo, 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 goo. Painting's very bright on the left-hand side, isn't it? That's another thing I'm trying to like really hone in is the lighting, because like I want the canvas to be lit up, but at the same time I don't want a lot of like oppressive light like in my eyes all the time, because that would just make my eyes even worse if I'm streaming all the time. Arms sprouting from it to rub hands together. Totally, yeah. Like I'll try it. I could try. Do you know what I could do? I could put arms coming out like near the top, doing the whole like this. I could do that. Yeah, I'll make them white, like they're Mickey Mouse gloves or something. The goo hasn't changed, so that part of ality is still good. As long as the goo remains, our sanity shall remain. Yeah, I could totally like do an arm like this, and then like this. Do hands. Do a hand like that. And then we do an arm here. Here, we'll do it here. Hello? 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 I'll do like a black outline on them to like make it pop more. Peinteingu. Peinteingu. It already looks pretty funny. Painting goo 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 goo. Need a bit of there we go. Need a bit of flow on that. I'm gonna get the other bit, too. I'm gonna get the liner bit, too. Behind here. Where's my skinny bitch? There she is. The tards firing up the CERN reactor gave it too much juice asleep at the wheel. Yeah, like they said that they're using it to like smash particles together and stuff like that, but when you look at it, it does look like just a giant electromagnet, like. And then I've heard rumors that like other engineers, like independent engineers who have looked at the specs, are like, that's not a tunnel, that's like a giant like copper ring or some shit, like, you know, like that's what you make if you want to make like a giant fucking electromagnet, like not a fucking particle smasher. And it's stuff like that it's like, okay, well if they're literally lying about what it is, like then one should probably be suspicious. There's me like, oh, I got the liner brush out. Like, yeah. Fucking bitch is all worn and she's not. She's all frayed. The bitch is frayed! That's annoying. Not surprising though. I'm quite rough with the bitches on Peinteingu.
This is Dave. Head of marketing at a catch-up.
Is that Dave, is it? Well, this is me telling you to fuck off.
2 weeks.
Peinteingu. Paint. Peinteingu, goo. Peinteingu, goo. Peinteingu, goo. Peinteingu, goo. What kind of power could come from a magnet of such magnitude? Doom demon portals. Yeah, like with the fucking like with a magnet that big, like think of the shit you could fuck with, like, you know, especially if like fucking like what Stabaru said there, like if they like juice it to the gills and then turn it on, like, you know, fucking whatever about potentially just breaking what they built because they like short circuit it or overload it or some shit like that. Like, do you imagine the kind of effects it would have on like the atmosphere and like animals and like the ground, like, you know, just like mad stuff, like, you know, like what could, like, I wonder, like where is it? It's like obviously it's in the middle of nowhere, because if it is a magnet and it's that big, it's like what, 14 kilometers in diameter or some shit. So like any metal, like, do you imagine, like, if it, like, it probably isn't a magnet, you know, because like if they ever flew a plane over it, like, and fucking, or if there was cars nearby or some shit and you turn that thing on and like all the metal in the surrounding area just starts to like slowly get pulled towards it, like, I don't know, like, you know, it's all speculation, like, and like that's one of the things that I find really annoying about all this truther shite is like, so much of it is simply that it's just speculation. Why? Because none of us know. Why? Because they lie through their fucking teeth about everything. Why? Because if, like, do you know what I mean? It's just a constant kind of like it's funny because like CERN is supposed to be a big circle. It's a circular fucking it's a circular situation where you're just like, okay, well, why are they lying? And why are they doing this and why are they doing that? And you never actually get to, you know, you never get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, right, I get that I'm probably like right that they're doing X, you know? It's like, what I generally come to the conclusion of, it's just like, okay, they're lying, okay, well, don't trust them. You know, like, that's about it, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, they appear to be lying through their ass for whatever reason, and then they have all these secret groups and all these like horrible fucking textbooks that contain all sorts of mad shit and rules and fucking like fucking Satan's 12 rules of life, like, the conclusion I come to is just like, fucking, you know, stay the fuck away from them. Don't trust anything they fucking say. Stay the fuck away from them. Don't ever get involved in anything that they fucking do, and just live life the way you think you should be living life. Now, I know that's a flawed argument, like, when you get to a certain degree, because it's like, okay, well, what do you think life should be, and depending on the person you are and stuff like that. But like, for the sake of just simplicity, say your average person is simply interested in living a good, moral, productive life full of love and like joy and trust, compassion, all these things, like, you know. And yeah, I know you could argue that, like, from their perspective, they fucking love being demonic. They trust in their demon lords to grant them power every time they fucking, like, do you know what I mean? You could argue both ways, like all the good side's all about trust and love and joy and fucking, like, you know, the good, true and beautiful and all. It's like, yeah, but like, if you look at it from their perspective, they see ugly lies and like destruction and violence as good, true and beautiful to them, do you know? Like, as far as they're concerned, fucking, like, ritualistically eating a baby or some shit like that is like a profound honor or some shit like that, like, you know. What's this? Why are you playing this shitty little tune? Are my tunes not good enough for you, YouTube? You fuck. You want me to put poppy seeds on it? That can be done. The sun and the moon, huge magnets. Yeah, like, I just thought it was crazy when I found out that the two of them actually line up perfectly, and that's why you get eclipses. You know, like, it's mad. Like, so just some of the properties and like some of the properties of our realm, and then some of the properties of the things in the realm. You do look at them and be like, how? Like, I was watching this thing about the bombardier beetle and like how they, you know, the way they use the thing, was it irreducible complexity, to prove the existence of a divine creator. And they use animals like the bombardier beetle and the hummingbird as example, and the bumblebee as examples of, like, it's so sophisticated and so complex from a design aspect that there's no way it could come from chaos or randomness. Like, no matter how much time you had, no matter even if you had your billions and billions and billions of years, it would never end up looking like that, you know? It takes a will, a intellect to create something that sophisticated, you know? Like, the bombardier beetle has two separate sacs in its abdomen that produce two different chemicals that on their separately are totally inert and harmless, but when they mix, they basically make something equivalent to like hydrochloric acid or some shit, or like some kind of it's like some kind of solvent that like burns at like 100 degrees Celsius or some shit, and they have a gland and a valve in their abdomen that allows them to mix those two chemicals in another separate third chamber and then fire it out of their arse to repel predators. And like they show you a frog, a big bullfrog, and like the bombardier beetle's about this big, you know, bullfrog's about like fucking size of your hand, and the bullfrog fucking recoils in like in agony from being hit with this scalding fluid. And it's like something that big with such a sophisticated chemical compound, like an alchemical process within it, you know, on a biomechanical level, on a chemical level, like all these things, like, and then the hummingbird, where its tongue goes like open behind its brain cavity and shit, like it's like you'd have to be like brainwashed, retarded, or just like straight up lying to think that this place wasn't created by something or someone, you know. False, ugly, grotesque. Yeah, but like, isn't grotesque and ugly since like kind of the same thing? Like good, true, and beautiful. So it'd be like bad, false, and ugly. Yeah, bad, false, and ugly. Because ugly and grotesque are like very similar. They're like the same branch. But yeah, like that's what I was thinking, is like, you know, from their perspective, what we consider to be good, true, and beautiful, you know, they'd probably see as like, you know, they see that as like ugly, false, and bad, and they see this, you know, it's totally inverted, like, you know. Because like there are people like that. There are people who look at those modern art expeditions or exhibitions. Expeditions. We're going on a pilgrimage for fucking art. Those mad cunts who will like sit around, you know, in a art gallery and watch some young one scream out loud and like open a tin of dog food and eat it in front of all of them, like, and they're like clapping and me like, oh, this is so brave and beautiful and all. Like, it's like that, what the fuck, like, do you know what I mean? There are people who like are on that frequency, they're on that vibe, like, you know. Personally, I think we should kill them all with fire. Like, it's an unfortunate reality, like, it's an unfortunate aspect of ality that apparently just exists, but whatever. Shekels and a fucking, what was the other thing? I'll try and do a big nose coming out of it. I'll do a nose and then some shekels, and then I'll call it a quits. I'll be back tomorrow. Take some of this red, make some pink. Gonna try and get flesh color. Peinteingu. Oh, we're nearly there. It can be very difficult to make a flesh color if you don't know what you're doing. But reds and pinks, and then trying to mix them with like beiges and browns is essentially what you're looking for. A bit too pinky. Stick a bit of yellow in there. Painting goo 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 goo. Big fucking manky hook nose. This bagel really does have every. That ad is fucking just. Like, I can't believe that's an advertisement for a mini game. Like, fucking hell, like. They really are, like, I've noticed in the last few years that they're trying to just like make stuff more sexualized, you know. Like, there's no longer a separation between, okay, here's all the adult content, you know, like porn and stuff, and here's like the rest of the stuff. Like, they're starting to blur the line between the two, where, like, you know, female cartoon characters in sexually explicit, like, you know, positions and doing certain things, like, but in a different context. Like, it's like, and it's not even that subtle. Like, it's the sort of thing, you know, people like us would look at and go like, what the fuck. Like, they're starting to do more and more of that now, where, like, it's just like they really are trying to just normalize degeneracy to an insane degree. Like, and there's actually part of me that thinks that you know, some good can come of that, because, like, if they make the public realm really degenerate and, like, accepting of degeneracy, then there's an element of, like, all of the creeps will come out of the woodwork, and then when the pendulum swings back, it's like they won't have anywhere to hide because they've been doing it out in the open, kind of thing. Like, part of me has thought about that, where, like, you know, you give it time, like, you can see all the parts moving and how they merge. You can see all the parts moving and how they move, and you just, like, fast forward time in your mind based on those parameters. And it's like, alright, well, if, like, they make shit really degenerate in the public, and then you have all these people being degenerate in the public and, like, you know, behaving in these, like, horrific ways, like, just, like, straight up, like, out in the open, and, like, showing pride in it and all this stuff, then everyone's going to be able to know what you are and what you did when the pendulum swings back. It's like, well, you were doing this for the last 6 years, you know, so, like, you can't say shit, like, off to jail with you, you know, kind of thing. One must always try and look on the bright side of things, no matter how horrific they appear to be. Shekels, that was the other thing, shekels. Embed some shekels in this fucker. So, like, do these little half circles as if the shekels are, like, just, like, shoved into it. This thing's fucking hilarious looking. Oh god. Right, made a lot of excellent progress on the everything bagel today. It's fucking mad looking. Oh god. Well, we're gonna leave it there. Fucking hell. Right, ladies, gentlemen, bears, bearettes, niggers, niggerettes. This concludes today's episode of Peinteingu. I hope you enjoyed Ingu. I know I did do. If you would like to support Peinteingu, link in description. Give me some money, funny bunny. Or you can buy my merchandise. The link for merchandise is also in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or I will fling the tiger at you. Until tomorrow, same time. Well, no, not same time. Usual time. I will return 3 p.m. tomorrow. GMT. Do you hear me, Stabberoo? 3 p.m. tomorrow GMT is when I will begin Peinteingu. You know? I'm telling you now, so you know. Prepare yourself. Start gathering chi now for tomorrow at 3 p.m. In the meantime, be good and be beautiful. Have a good evening. Love each other. Rafter. What was the other one? And riv honorably. Riv, Ruv, Raf, Ruv? I don't know. Anyway. I need to eat something. I'm fucking deliriously tired. I hope you enjoyed Peinteingu. It will return tomorrow. 3 p.m. GMT. Anything else? Anything else I have to warn you about? No? What about you, Tobias? Anything to say to the people? Or are you just gonna sit there and stare at me? Anyway. Auf Wiedersehen, bitches. Indeed. Auf Wiedersehen, meine Lieben. And I will see you tomorrow. God bless! Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And I will return in the morrow.